Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm going to tell you about the time I made to wrestling state finals. It was nearing the end of my wrestling season in my sophomore year, and we made it to sectionals, which was the match prior before making the state. On the bus to Oglethorpe, it was a long, difficult ride. It was a 2 hour ride going on 6, 7 in the morning to school that was we didn't even like, that was super cold and super far. But when we got there, the stadium or the gym where the match was being held was huge. It was just four mats all together with four different schools. It was Oglethorpe, Westside, which was my school, ARC, and Glen Hills, which was our opposing rival. And before we started, the coach sat all the players down and he gave us a little speech saying, if y'all can at least win two of your matches, you're going to state. And I was like, okay, coach. So my first match wasn't until probably 30 minutes in. I was trying to hype myself up, but I just wasn't in the right headspace to be able to win my first match. So when I got up to my first match, it was against this tall white boy who was about my width in length. Well, my width at least, in my muscle mass, I mean. But he had way more experience. He was a 4 going on 5 year wrestler since he was in middle school. But he instantly got me in the second round. First round, I was able to play a bit on the defensive side, but I got extremely tired extremely quick. So when the second round hit, he pinned me almost automatically. It was very embarrassing. I was super flustered. I couldn't breathe. I was tired, and I was even more pissed that I'm thinking I wasn't going to make a mistake because I couldn't win my first match. So I went to the locker room for a minute to make sure I was all set for it, and then my coach came in and he gave me a very nice speech saying, "Hey, I know you're nervous. It's your first year, but if you want to make a state, you're gonna have to push harder than you have in any of your matches before. Because I've won previous matches before, but this was the one that really counted, the one that would count to see if I made the state or not." And I was like, "Okay, coach." So before the second round started, before the second match started, I had a bunch of anxiety. I was nervous. I didn't know how to feel. I wanted to win so bad that I wasn't even in my head. But when I sat down prior before the match, I talked to the rest of my teammates. They were like, "Don't get in your own head. Focus on your technique. Just focus on what you're good at, and then make sure that you just do what you're best at. If you need to play on the defensive, play on the defensive. Play on the offense, play on the offensive." And so when my match started, I looked at my coach, I looked at my teammates, I looked at the ref. He was like, "Are you ready?" I was like, "I was ready." The match lasted for a total of 4 minutes, being split into 2 rounds. Round one was very tough and exhausting. My opponent was a tall, dark skin with dreadlocks who had about a year experience on me being a senior as I was a junior. But when I started the match, he played more on the aggressive side. I was always on the defensive, trying to just gain back points, trying to gain any other escapes, trying to make sure I didn't get pinned or locked up out of nowhere. All in all, after the first round, I was completely exhausted. I could barely breathe. I could barely see anything. I just wanted this to stop. Then I got up. I looked at my coach. He looked at me. We both exchanged a nod, and we started the second round. The ref blew the whistle. I was more on the offensive side on this one. I was able to get in more shoots, get in more lockups, get in more grapples and anything. I was able to keep him on his toes. And then nearing the 1 minute mark, we met a stalemate. The ref blew the whistle, and I was given the option top or bottom. Being able to over being able to stand on top of my opponent or be able to bottom to try to get escape points. I decided to choose top. And so when I hit that opponent, I was very nervous but ready. As soon as the ref blew the whistle, I snatched away my opponent's wrist and I was able to pin him. It was the longest 3 seconds of my life. I never thought 3 seconds of pinning a person could feel like an eternity until that match right there. I was so out of it and so exhausted once I got up and the ref blew the whistle. I didn't know I won. I asked my coach, I was like, "Coach, did I win?" He was like, "Yeah, you won." I was like, "All right, we're doing good." So when I got up, I went straight to the bleachers. I felt an enormous amount of pride and joy. I called my mom. I was like, "Hey, mom, I made it to rest. I made it to the States in first year." She was like, "I'm so proud of you." And it was just an amazing time. And at that point, I knew that whatever I want to do in life, whatever path I want to take, it's going to take that same amount of determination that I used for wrestling to be able to complete my goals.